Hey, it's Katie. Today we're going to be talking about Julie Berry's All the Truth That's in Me. I gave this book an 8 out of 10, and it was a really interesting novel. So the premise is that Judith, our main character, disappeared several years ago with her best friend in the dead of night. No one knows what happened, if they ran away, if they were abducted, and they've kind of not known for several years. Then one day Judith came back, but without her best friend. So everyone kind of doesn't trust her. She has been mutilated so that she can't speak, and that kind of just does not help. There's a lot of discord. The village is kind of against her, and the whole book she's kind of talking to this boy that she's been in love with since she was a child. It's written in a really interesting way, kind of an in-between of diary entries and letters. They're not for the boy that she loves, which is Lucas, but they're written as though she were writing a diary that she one day intended for him to read. So it's a really interesting setup, and I do enjoy it. She directly addresses him, but he doesn't know the things. It's a lot of just her getting out her inner turmoil and the thoughts that are racing through her mind as she's living this kind of crazy life. When I looked at the summary of this book, I kind of expected it to be a modern, like contemporary style book, like something that happened in maybe the 2000s, and she's living in just like a small town where people, word gets around and that kind of thing. But it's actually set in like settler time America. So it's very interesting seeing that interact with the fact that they're in this time where there's not a lot of technology or medicine or things like that. So that obviously is a very different like culture and a lot of different things that are going on with this setting. It took me a while to get into this book. Probably I didn't really get to the point where it hurt me to put it down until I was about halfway through the book, which is a lot. But then it definitely started to pick up a lot, and by the end I was like screaming. Like my roommate was worried about me because I was freaking out. And I think it's the type of book where if you were to go back and read it once you've gotten to the end, you would enjoy it a lot more, because it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense and it didn't seem important until it got to that point when it was. Like, you needed to know all of the things that happened, and you needed to understand her character and the characters around her, which you wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So that definitely, it was interesting. It kind of really complicated the dynamic. Judith was a very unique protagonist. She was very layered and had a lot kind of going on, and it was really intriguing to read something with this kind of premise that we don't read a lot of in these like YA coming of age novels that are set in modern times. Julie Berry did a really good job with this change and like still allowing the plot to feel realistic despite the fact that it was so different and in such a time that we don't really get a lot of in this genre that we're kind of in a lot of the time. So that's going to be it for the spoiler-free section. Definitely check this book out if you're feeling it. The link will be below. And we're going to get right into the spoilers, so head out if you're going. This book really surprised me. I did not think it would be set in early America. Towards the beginning, I thought that Judith was really creepy with the way that she was obsessed with Lucas. But once I saw more of their interactions and understood that they had been kind of close as children, it made a lot more sense. And once they started to talk to each other again, it was really good. Like, once their relationship started to flow, I definitely shipped it. It just, until we got there, I was unsure. But I definitely, I did appreciate it once they started getting together. I was so excited. When we thought he was going to burn at the stake, I was wailing. It was not good. Oh my goodness. I don't know the last time I was that worried about a character, Like, burning at the stake is not something I see a whole lot of, so, wow. I will forgive Julie Berry, though, because she did make up for the near stake burning with the really satisfying ending. I thought it was really good, and I loved that Maria was not demonized because she was the other woman. That is such a trope that I'm so sick and tired of, is our protagonist likes someone, but he has a girlfriend, so let's make the girlfriend evil and it'll justify us wanting them to break up. And Maria wasn't like that. She was great. She just wasn't great with Lucas, and he wasn't great with her. They needed to be with other people, and her and Leon were so cute. And when she like ran up to him when he was injured, oh, but like anyway, we liked her. Like it was so nice that there was like a love triangle, but they weren't enemies. Like Maria wanted to help her. She was like, "Yo, like let's get you to learn how to read and speak again. Like you are fully talented. You're a brilliant girl. There's no reason for you not to be speaking. Everybody else can suck it up if they don't like the fact that you're literally disabled. Like that's none of their business. You're gonna do what you want and you're gonna be able to communicate. We're gonna make this happen." And yes, it was so good. It was so quality. Um, it when Judith and Lucas did get together, it did feel a little fast paced and insta lovey, but it did feel real and like something that could happen. And I definitely really enjoyed the fact that it began with like her facing her demons to bring his father to save the town. Like she was so conflicted about it, but she knew like this is the only way to save everyone, so she did it anyway. Then like that's definitely in a situation like that where like this man like had abducted you, like you were in his custody in like a very not enjoyable situation for years, and like you knew that he was the only hope for everyone else, so you braved that. Like that's incredible, and that was a really great character moment. And Lucas, even though they weren't close at that point, still not telling everyone that she had been the one to bring him was really really nice. It was a really good moment, and there were a lot of things in this book, things like that, that really broke down these barriers of these tropes that we have in so many other books that like I think we're all tired of. So it's just really nice to have these rare scenes that we don't get a lot of. Leon being the one who her friend had wanted to sneak out to see, that was wow. I did not see that coming. And obviously that's not like a huge plot point, like it was just mentioned in like one sentence, but also like that's gonna mess with me for a little bit. Like wow, that's all these years he's been living with that alone because he couldn't tell anyone, obviously, because they'd assume the worst. And I'm just, it's a lot to think about. So at the end of the day, this book was written in a really unique way, and I think that the intersection of like the diary and the letter really enhanced the function of the plot, even though it weirded me out a little bit at the beginning because it was kind of confusing and a little creepy until you understood more of what was going on. But it was definitely a really good book. Totally would recommend. I hope you guys enjoyed it like I did. Thanks so much.